I ignored this symptom for a month. And then this happened. Life after 50 can be pretty good, right? More wisdom, maybe a bit more comfort. But sometimes our bodies start whispering secrets. And we, being men, often just shrug them off. It's nothing, we tell ourselves. Just getting older. I did the same. For a full month, I ignored a whisper that turned into a scream. And what happened next? Well, it changed everything. This isn't just my story, it's a warning for every man over 50. It started innocently enough. A slight shift in my daily routine. Nothing dramatic. Just a little more frequent. Trips to the bathroom. Especially at night. At first, it was just once. Then twice. Soon, it was disrupting my sleep 3 or 4 times a night. I'd wake up feeling groggy, tired, my mind cloudy. My energy levels plummeted, impacting my work and my hobbies. But I brushed it off. Too much coffee, I thought. Must be the cold weather. Or, the classic, it's just my age, happens to everyone. This self-deception, this insidious whisper of normalcy, is perhaps the most dangerous symptom of all. It convinces us that what we're experiencing is simply an unavoidable part of getting older, something to be endured rather than investigated. This is where we, as men, often go wrong. We normalize symptoms. We accept discomfort as an inevitable part of aging. We tell ourselves that aches, pains, changes in our bodies, they're all just par for the course. We've been conditioned to be tough, to push through, to silently bear any burden. But there's a fine line between resilience and recklessness. My wife, bless her heart, would ask, "Are you okay? You seem tired, distracted." I'd just grunt, "Fine, just a busy day," or "Nothing a good night's sleep won't fix." I wasn't just ignoring my body. I was subtly pushing away the concern of those who cared about me most. This isolation, this refusal to acknowledge vulnerability, only deepened the trap I was falling into. The frequency of my bathroom trips wasn't the only thing. There were other subtle changes that, in hindsight, were screaming for attention. A feeling of not quite emptying my bladder, leaving me with a nagging sense of unfinished business. A weaker stream that made me feel like I was taking forever. These weren't constant, they came and went, making them easier to dismiss. So, I continued to rationalize. Stress, I'd say. Must have drunk too much water, or maybe not enough. The insidious thing about these symptoms is how gradual they are. Like a frog in slowly boiling water, you don't notice the danger until it's too late, until the discomfort morphs into something more alarming, more undeniable. This slow, almost imperceptible progression is precisely why so many of us fall into the trap of delayed action. We wait for a clear sign, missing all the subtle indicators along the way. Then came the jolt. A moment that truly woke me up from my self-imposed denial. I was on a road trip, miles from anywhere, and the sudden, overwhelming urge to go hit me with a force I'd never experienced. It wasn't just an urge, it was a desperate, almost painful command. I clenched every muscle, sweating, my heart pounding, frantically scanning the highway for an exit. I barely made it to a rest stop, breathless and shaking. It was painful, frustrating, and honestly, profoundly humiliating. That's when it clicked. This wasn't normal. This wasn't just age, this was a problem. This was my body, finally, undeniably, demanding my attention. The sheer intensity of that moment shattered my complacency. I was scared. Genuinely scared. Scared of what it could be. Scared of what I'd find out. And yes, a little ashamed that I'd let it go on for so long, that I'd been so dismissive of something so fundamental to my comfort and well-being. Every man, no matter how tough, how self-reliant, has these moments of vulnerability. But we often keep them to ourselves, bottling up our fears. This is a mistake. A critical mistake that could cost us our health, and even our lives, by delaying crucial interventions. I finally swallowed my pride, pushed past my fear, and made an appointment with my doctor. It was one of the hardest calls I've made in years, admitting to myself, and then to a professional, that something was truly wrong. The doctor listened patiently, with an understanding gaze. He asked a lot of questions, probing for details I hadn't even consciously registered. He performed a thorough examination, explaining each step. And then he dropped the word, prostate. Now, as a man over 50, you've heard that word. You know it's a common concern, a gland that naturally grows as we age. But hearing it in relation to your symptoms, in the context of your life, that hits different. It makes it real. He explained that my frequent urination, the weak stream, the feeling of incomplete emptying, these were classic signs of something going on with my prostate. Specifically, it was benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, a non-cancerous enlargement of the prostate gland. It was a common condition, he assured me, but one that definitely needed attention. He then explained the dangers of ignoring BPH. Left untreated, it can lead to far more serious problems, escalating from mere inconvenience to severe health risks. He spoke of urinary tract infections, recurring and debilitating, because the bladder isn't fully emptying, creating a breeding ground for bacteria. He warned about bladder stones, excruciatingly painful formations from concentrated, stagnant urine. And in severe cases, even kidney damage from the backup pressure created by a blocked flow. That's right, my kidneys, those vital organs filtering my blood, maintaining my body's balance, could have been compromised because I was too stubborn, too dismissive, to address a few extra bathroom trips. The simple act of ignoring a common symptom, assuming it was just age, could have led to irreversible medical emergencies and a drastically reduced quality of life. The gravity of what I had risked by my inaction truly sank in. But here's the crucial part, the silver lining in my delayed realization. Because I finally sought help, it was caught early enough to be managed effectively. BPH is incredibly common in men over 50, affecting over half of us by age 60, and crucially, it's treatable. My doctor outlined a few options, starting with medication to relax the bladder muscles and shrink the prostate. He talked about simple but effective lifestyle changes, like reducing caffeine and alcohol, especially before bed, and managing my fluid intake throughout the day. He also emphasized the importance of regular checkups to monitor the condition. And he reassured me that we caught it before any serious, irreversible damage was done. The relief I felt was immense, a profound sense of gratitude mixed with a healthy dose of self-reproach for waiting so long. So, why am I telling you this with such candid detail? Because I know there are countless men out there, just like I was, ignoring the whispers of their own bodies. Maybe it's not prostate issues for you. Maybe it's persistent fatigue that sleep doesn't seem to touch, leaving you drained and listless. Perhaps it's unexplained aches and pains that settle in your joints or muscles, dismissed as just old age, changes in digestion, chronic heartburn, or an unexplained weight fluctuation that you're hoping will just sort itself out. It could even be subtle shifts in mood, memory, or concentration that are affecting your daily life and relationships. Your body is constantly sending you signals, communicating its needs and potential problems. Are you listening to these vital messages? Or are you, like I did, just dismissing them as an unavoidable part of getting older, pushing them aside until they can no longer be ignored? This dismissal, this quiet acceptance of discomfort, is the real enemy. Let me be blunt. Ignoring these signals isn't just about your physical health, although that's paramount. It profoundly affects your quality of life. Imagine a life where you're constantly worried about where the next bathroom is, or where nagging pain limits your mobility, or where chronic fatigue zaps your joy. What about your relationships? Your ability to be present and engaged with your loved ones? Your energy for hobbies, for travel, for all the things you've worked so hard for? I realized that my stubbornness, my reluctance to face a potential problem, was stealing precious moments from my life. It was impacting my sleep, my mood, even my patience with my family and friends. The cost of delay isn't just medical bills, it's emotional and relational, eroding the very fabric of a fulfilling life. Don't let a preventable issue steal your present and jeopardize your future. I often wonder, what if I hadn't gone to the doctor that day? What if I had continued to ignore it for another month, or 6 months, or a year, until the symptoms became unbearable? The thought sends a shiver down my spine. My doctor told me stories of men who waited too long. Men who ended up in the emergency room with severe kidney failure, or needing emergency, invasive surgery because their bladders were completely blocked, reaching a critical, dangerous point. Don't let that be you. You might think, oh, that's extreme, it won't happen to me. But the stark truth is, common problems can rapidly become extreme and life-threatening if ignored for too long. The minor annoyance of today can be the medical crisis of tomorrow. The good news, the truly empowering truth, is that you have the power to change this narrative for yourself. You can take control. This isn't about being paranoid, constantly searching for ailments, it's about being proactive. It's about respecting your body, the only one you have, and giving yourself the absolute best chance at a long, healthy, and fulfilling life. Think of it as an investment. An investment in your future comfort, in your lasting energy, in your peace of mind, and crucially, in your ability to be fully present and vibrant for the people who matter most in your world. This proactive approach isn't a sign of weakness, it's a testament to your strength and wisdom. So, let's get specific. When should you stop ignoring and start investigating? For men over 50, especially with the prostate in mind, here are key signs you should never brush off, but instead bring to your doctor's immediate attention. Frequent urination, particularly the need to wake up multiple times during the night to go to the bathroom. This is one of the most common early indicators. A weak or interrupted urine stream, where the flow isn't as strong as it used to be, or it stops and starts. Difficulty starting urination, or straining to urinate, feeling like you have to push to get the flow going. A persistent feeling that you can't completely empty your bladder, even after urinating. This often leads to needing to go again very shortly after. Sudden, urgent, and uncontrollable needs to urinate, often accompanied by a fear of leakage. Any pain or burning sensation during urination, which could indicate infection. The presence of blood in your urine or semen, which is always a red flag that requires immediate medical evaluation. But this isn't only about your prostate. This is a mindset for your overall health after 50, a principle to apply to any bodily change. Are you experiencing persistent, debilitating fatigue that even extended rest doesn't seem to fix, making you feel constantly drained? Unexplained weight changes, either a significant gain or, more concerning, an unintentional loss without changes in diet or exercise. New or worsening aches and pains in your joints, back, or elsewhere that aren't tied to an obvious injury and persist over time. Significant digestive changes like chronic constipation, persistent diarrhea, new food intolerances, or recurring heartburn. Noticeable changes in mood, memory, or concentration that concern you or, crucially, that your loved ones have pointed out. Any new lumps, bumps, or skin changes that appear unusual or are growing. These are all whispers from your body, vital messages that demand your attention. And they deserve your investigation, not your dismissal. I know, for many of us, the very thought of going to the doctor feels like admitting weakness, like a confession of vulnerability. It feels like a chore, an inconvenience that takes time out of our busy schedules. Or worse, we're paralyzed by the fear of what we might hear, the fear of a serious diagnosis. But let me tell you, that fear, that procrastination, is far more dangerous than any potential diagnosis. Doctors are there to help, not to judge. They have the knowledge, the training, and the tools to identify problems early, when they are most treatable, often with simple interventions. Think of your doctor as your most important partner in maintaining your health, not an adversary or a source of bad news. They are your allies in the pursuit of longevity and vitality. When you go to the doctor, be prepared. Don't just offer vague statements like, "I'm tired," or "I've got some aches." Describe how you feel, when you feel it, how long it's been happening, and what makes it better or worse. Be specific, articulate every symptom, even the ones you think are minor or unrelated. You are your own best advocate, the primary steward of your health. No one knows your body better than you do, no one feels what you feel. If something feels off, if that whisper becomes a persistent hum, speak up, ask questions, demand clarity. Your life, your future, your continued well-being, depends on your willingness to be your own champion. Think about the people in your life who count on you. Your wife, your children, your grandchildren, your friends. Your health isn't just about you, it's about them too. When you're healthy, you can be present, you can be active, you can be the strong, reliable rock they rely on. You can create new memories, continue your traditions, and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Ignoring a symptom isn't just a risk to yourself, it's a profound risk to the shared future you envision with your loved ones. Don't put them through the worry, the heartache, and the burden that often comes from preventable or easily manageable illnesses that were allowed to escalate. Your well-being impacts everyone around you. So, what's the first step? If you recognize any of the symptoms I've mentioned, if a certain whisper from your body has grown louder, or if something just doesn't feel right in a way you can't quite articulate, pick up the phone. Call your doctor. Schedule that checkup you've been putting off, the one that's been lingering on your mental to-do list. Don't wait for the aha moment, the crisis that forces your hand into a dire situation. Be proactive. Be smart. Be courageous. Make that call today. It could be the most important call you make all year, possibly even the call that safeguards your future. My journey with BPH was a profound wake-up call. It taught me the invaluable, deeply personal lesson of listening to my body, even when the whispers are faint and easily dismissed. And now, thanks to that action, I'm feeling better than ever. I sleep through the night, I have more energy for my work and hobbies, and I can enjoy life without constant worry or discomfort. This doesn't have to be a scary story for you. It can be a story of empowerment. A story of taking charge of your health, understanding your body, and living intentionally. Your health is your greatest wealth, especially after 50, a treasure more valuable than any possession. Invest in it. Protect it. Cherish it. Because you absolutely deserve to live every moment of your golden years to the fullest, with vitality, joy, and peace of mind.